So this is a new front end. You've seen it, we've done work on it already. We've cut it to fit the car. It's very close, still needs a bit of trimming here and there. But what I need to sort out is the biggest problem on this front end, and that is all the rust. All the rust holes. Here, here, all this. Unlikely to be changing this for now, but because I'm planning on going big radiator, another story, another video. But there's a lot of rust holes. Here, here, these side panels, across the back. Oh, well, what is actually the front edge of the wheel arches. So I want to get all the welding done and all the rust repair finished before it gets final welded onto the car. Because I don't want to be making more hard work for myself by welding it to the car and then having to do a load of rust repair. I might as well do it all while it's easy. I can flip it round, it's nice and light at the minute. So let's do the rust repair now and get it pretty mint before it goes on, and yeah, go from there. No point putting a bad piece of metal on what's mostly a good car. Rust, in rust terms, this is a pretty solid shell. I've done a bit of welding on it, but she's a pretty solid shell, to be honest. So with all rust repair, one of the hardest things to decide is actually where to start. I'm planning on starting in these lower pieces here that cover up the top of the chassis rail. I'm not going to make them as OEM panels because, one, it's far above my skills and capabilities, and two, I actually want to get rid of a lot of these holes anyway. I know you can get infill panels for these which weld on top here, which I may look at doing in the future, like down the line, but I don't plan on doing that just yet. Maybe it's something I do when I finally decide on everything. If I can get these nice and smooth without them, I might avoid it. But yeah, so I think I'm going to start with these. I'm going to be doing it all by hand. I have got some hammer and dollies and stuff like that, so I will try and shape it, make the lips as normal. I'll be using all cardboard aided design, and yeah, getting it nice and hopefully seamless is the word I'm going to go for. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. So yeah, to start with, I'm just going to make a repair panel that goes to the side of where the crash bar mountings go. I'm not going to do this whole piece. One, I don't think it's worth it because for the most part this is actually a good panel, so I'm going to leave that for now. I'm just going to do in this section, and I know you can buy repair panels from a few different places, but they all seem very expensive, and I've got a load of metal there, got a few cutting tools and stuff, so I'll just give it a go doing it myself. So the way I'm going to do this is pretty simple really. I've got a scrap bit of cardboard and I'm just going to trim this up until it fits nicely in here, and then that's just going to give me my template, which I can then transfer to metal, which should get my repair panel pretty close. So yeah, let's do that then.
Yeah, so like I said, just trimming it up. I'll sort of get the rough shape just by cutting. I'll just ease into it, if that makes sense. So I just get my rough quick shape and then just keep nibbling bits out until I get it perfectly how I want it. And I just keep going around and marking up and trimming until I get the shape that I'd like. You'll see in a minute I'll put it on top and mark the front edge.
So I've got the basis for my first template. That fits pretty nice and snug in there, follows all the contours and the lines that it needs to. It probably will need a bit of final tweaking when it's made out of metal, and when I've just confirmed where I am going to cut it off. I want to try and make it easy for myself to weld up, but I also want to make sure there's no rust. Obviously, no point doing all this and me leaving a bit of rust and then that rust spreading again. So it's got to be right, but just want to try and make it a little bit easy for myself as well. But we'll see where we get to. So template 1, but template 1 also does this side, and that should fit up pretty much the same. It won't go in at the minute because there's a couple of brackets in here which I haven't cut off yet, which obviously I'll do when I cut that panel off. So yeah, template numero uno.
So the second template I'm making is just those side pieces. It's only a little template. I didn't actually set the camera up very well to show you what I was doing, but yeah. It's just an easy one, square, and as you can see in a minute, it'll should sit in there quite nice.
So this should be template number 2. It's only a small one, but this should sit in there, and then I'm just going to try and do this curve on this smaller piece as well to follow the curve of here, and it just hopefully, if I need to chop back, make sure that's right, but that should sit in there, give me a nice straight edge at the bottom, curl round there, and that'll give me my nice basis for this repair panel. So yeah, template number 2. So the next template I kind of need to make is for the front edges of these wheel arches, but I'm a little bit oohing and ahhing whether I might actually be better getting these 2 panels in, welded in, cut and sorted, then at least I can see where I've got to go. I'm sort of thinking that could be the better option. So I might start marking, cutting and grinding to get these panels made up and these 2 side ones made up. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Let's do that. So I'm also going to leave on some of these, so this edge, if you can see, so this edge, and this edge all want an additional flange, because on this side I need to roll it down, that side needs to come up, this side needs to go down. So I do need to, although I'm cutting this template out, this is the base shape it needs to be, I also need to cut, I think 10mm for this edge, will be fine. Again, 10mm for this edge, and then I'm going to go maybe 5mm on this edge because it's only a little rounded bit. This edge obviously doesn't need anything, that's just going to be a butt joint.
So maybe leave me a comment and just let me know if you you like all the time lapses and sort of seeing what I'm doing. Like seeing the mistakes, see what I do right, see what I do wrong, sort of showing the human side of it. Like we don't all get everything spot on first time. Yeah, I quite like the time lapses when I'm watching videos, but see what everyone likes really. You can see here I actually marked the template on the metal the same way both times, so I ended up having to rub it off and start again. But yeah, and then cut it out with, I've got a little Milwaukee 2-inch cutting disc tool, which is a fantastic bit of kit. really like it. I use one all the time. It's great for doing little cuts like this. You just get a little bit more control over the tool. And it's battery, no cords. So, yeah, winner really. So yeah, if you are enjoying it, please do consider subscribing, liking. Let me know if you do like these time lapses. And yeah, hope you enjoy the rest of the video.
Cool. Burnt through that disc pretty quick. That was a fresh disc for that. So, we now have all our templates cut into metal. You can still see my marks there. They do need tidying up. The edges are very rough at the minute. In fact, why don't I just do that now? I look like an alien with these glasses on, don't I? With these safety glasses on. Makes a change, I suppose.
So I'm just using a file to tidy all the edges up. I find it's usually the best way. Just holding it at a 45-degree angle and getting all the burrs and stuff off. I don't actually have you can get deburring tools, which is just like a little bladey thing. I don't actually have one. I could do with getting one, but a file works just as well. And it meant I could actually tidy some of the cut marks up a little bit as well. So yeah, just did that on every piece, tidied all the edges up, and yeah, I don't cut myself anymore because there's sharp edges. So winner winner chicken dinner.
So they're tidied up now, just a bit of filing, nothing major, just so there's no dangerous sharp edges on them. I'm going to finish these off tomorrow. I'm off to get some welding gas and stuff, so I'll see you in 30 seconds, maybe not 30 seconds, see you now, and we're back. So today I'm just going to carry on shaping these, sorting them out, getting them shaped so they can be installed on the front end. Hoping to try and sort some welding gas out later, but not having much luck at the minute, but it's a long story. But yeah, I want to get these pieces shaped, the holes cut out of the front end, which I can then look at welding them into. So without too much waffling, we'll get on and I'll start finishing off these repair panels.
So this is my first time actually using some hammer and dollies. Just following the line round that I used to cut the template out, and I'm just making that 10mm flange that I spoke about earlier, just using the hammer and dolly to fold it up. I actually found on the second piece it was better to get a pair of smooth jaws Nipexes and just do the initial fold with them. I found that it didn't warp the panel quite as much. I managed to get it back straight, but it did have a bit of a warp on that where it narrows right down. But you live and learn. Like I say, it's first time doing any hammer and dolly work, so sort of I was learning as I was going. First time really making a panel in this way. I have made repair panels before, but not really like this. They did end up turning out pretty well. I was pretty happy with them. I've got, as you can see, folding it with the vice and stuff. Actually made nice flat bend, and yeah, need to try and get in the habit of moving the camera more often.
Just realised I moved the camera and now you can't see what I'm doing. So I'm just using these Nipex No Marks. Nice smooth jaw on them. And I'm just using them on this bit just to start forming the metal round. Just start giving me the curve that I need. And then I'm going to go around with a hammer and dolly. And as you've probably seen, I'm no expert with a hammer and dolly. It's the first time actually using them, to be honest. So, but yeah. I'll go around and just clean it up. Now I've got that. Now I've got the initial curves done. That's it done with the initial bends. Well, that's picking it up. So they ain't the prettiest by any means, but it's close enough to get me in there, and I can start trimming and fettling this when I'm coming to put it in. That's giving me my base repair panel with my compound curves. It's actually the first time doing metal work like that, as in using a hammer and a dolly. So I'm relatively happy with it. I've got a little curve up on this edge that I'm not too happy about, but for now I'm going to leave it, see how I get on with the other side, and it might just be something that I can maybe trim that corner off and not use that bit, I don't know. But we've got our base and we can go from there.
Although I'm not the best at this sort of work, like it's like I say, first time doing this sort of stuff, I do quite enjoy doing this sort of stuff and learning new skills, and not that I can really call it a skill at the minute, but learning new things. And yeah, I just like making stuff really. So I did actually quite enjoy this bit, making these panels, although they're probably not perfect by any means, but they're it's like anything, the more you do it and the more practice you get, the better your end result will be.
Oh, I've also done my little side repair panels. So really, actually, I could do with cutting the old metal out, ready to receive these. So I'll get the front end set up on the stand, get my cutters and grinders and stuff like that, and we'll start doing a bit of choppy. So I'm now going to cut out on the front end. Well, first I'm going to mark up, and then I'm going to cut out the metal, the bad metal basically. So I'm just going to mark it up with Sharpie and then get cutting.
So yeah, if you are enjoying the video, please consider liking and subscribing. It really does help. Yeah, and comment on what I could do better as well. I'm all open to constructive criticism.
Lovely jubbly. That piece fits up pretty nice as is. So as you can see, I've cut out the rot on this side, the bad panels, and you saw that I folded up and cut this panel. Just test fitting it in here. I purposely went really large on this side. Basically so that there was stuff to trim away if it was too big, which it is, which I did obviously purposely. So I'm going to mark that up now and just trim back what I need to. The cut line that I've made along this chassis leg is actually where the flange attaches. There doesn't look to be any rot on the top of that. It looks like solid metal. So I just need to clean it up a little bit. But if that is the case, I'll basically just use this cut line now as my mark for this. I'll match this piece to the front end, if that makes sense. Yeah, so just cleaning the top of that chassis rail up. There's a tiny bit of like surface. It's nothing to worry about. I'll probably just put a bit of cure rust on that like I did on other bits of this front end. Put some epoxy primer or something like that on it and it'll be absolutely fine. So, if that's the case, I can do a bit more trimmy.
So I usually find the best thing to do is sort of to chase it in. Don't try and get it in one big cut when you're doing your final trim or shaping it, getting it a lot closer. I find it better to just creep up on it because you can end up doing too much if you try and do it all in one go. It's easier to creep up on it and then sort of bit by bit. It's a lot easier to remove metal than it is to add it back, so I would always suggest creeping up on it.
Tell you what, I'm terrible for putting stuff down and completely forgetting where I put it, and then I can't find it, and half the time it's in front of my face. Sometimes you can't see wood for trees. Yeah, so the rust here, I've just gone at it with a wire wheel, as you've probably just seen. But I mean, the metal's not horrendous. The wire wheel's taken most of the rust, but I feel like I just want to go from sort of here and either go out here or carry on down the side of this piece. Don't really want to get into replacing this if I don't have to. I think it's above my capabilities of fabrication, so if I can just get away with going down here, that's what I want to do. So that's the second one just dropped in. There is a bit of a big gap there, but I can close that up while I'm welding it up. When I give it a twist that way, it does sit in there nice-ish. Certainly closes it right up. But yeah, I don't think they look too bad. Obviously this side will just come down a little bit. But yeah, pretty happy with that. Obviously this side piece fits nice. I just need to make that back bit now for both sides. I'll chop out the old metal before I start welding this in, and then yeah, hopefully have a session of getting this bit looking presentable. Another blade. So I'm just taping this little piece on. So when I'm making my template for the next repair panel, I have this repair panel sort of in situ, so I can make a continuation of it, if that makes sense. Because I want to follow the bottom line from the bottom of this repair panel pretty much all the way across, and then go up and then across, and just fill in that gap. So I think it's easier to have the repair panel at least in place. It's only a bit of masking tape holding it on. But yeah, I can make my next piece now. Like that. So yeah, they're the two pieces made out of metal, obviously. So I'll start getting these bent up. Well, I'm probably gonna have a bit of lunch first, but I'll get these bent up and ready to actually be welded in the car. So yeah, I'll see you in half an hour once I've had my lunch. Or you'll see me in now. So, like an idiot, I had my lunch and then just carried on working, thinking the camera was still rolling, and it wasn't. So I've actually formed this piece round a little bit. I'll get the final bit when I'm welding it in and tweak it and get it in place. Once it's actually welded along this top edge, I'll pull it and move it about then. I've also cut a little piece of metal for repair piece just in the chassis leg, and it was only when I made that and was talking to the camera I realised the red light to say that it's recording wasn't on. So well done me. So yeah, next bit I just need to hand form this one round as well and do any final trimming that it needs. And then that should mean I can weld all this together and it should look a bit less shit, hopefully. So I'm literally just using my hands to do basic bending on that. I don't have any fancy rollers or anything like that here, so I'm just doing it by hand. So yeah, just rolling it around with my hand, trying to get a nice even-ish curve. So I've managed to get some welding gas, so we're going to attack welding up some of these test pieces. I'm going to do these ones on the right hand side and the back of the wheel well first, and then go from there. Oh, you fucker. Reach on fucking noggin. Fucking bit of fucking shit right
So
in the
after
air.
getting a bit of weld spatter in my hair, I decided to put a beanie hat on so that won't happen again. Because yeah, it did actually hurt a bit. Especially when I wasn't expecting it. But yeah, just tacking, doing loads of tacks, working around until obviously it's fully welded in. I'm spacing the tacks out by, I don't know, inch or so at a time, and then just filling in between, just so I don't warp anything. Yeah, and as you see, I've just grinded my initial welds down so I can then make sure I get a nice full weld. And you know the old saying, grinder and paint will make me the welder I ain't.
A few moments later. Several days later.
Right, so as you've seen, I've got these two panels welded in. I've just covered them in a bit of weld through primer, just so they don't go rusty while I'm messing about with it. What I want to do now I've done the bulk of the rust repair. There's a few little bits here and there, but I've done the bulk of it. I haven't put these panels on these top bits like I've said. There's a little bit too much twist in these for me to want to do it before it's on the car. Once it's on the car, it shouldn't deform basically when I'm welding it in, or not too much anyway. So let's get that on there and see what I need to chop. Almost died. So as you've seen, I'm struggling a little bit to get this front end to sit on. I can't actually see what's holding it off. It just feels like there's a bit of tension there when I'm trying to pull it down, but it doesn't feel like it's caught up on anything, which it must be, but everything I look at, there's like little bits here and there, but nothing really standing out to me. So I'm going to have a little think about how I'm going to attack this next. I was pretty confident I'd be able to get this to just drop on with the jig, and then job would be a good one. But it's fighting me a lot more. So I'm debating whether to do them one at a time, like cut this off, the rad support, and then do them individually. But then we're getting to the position where we could end up welding them on pist, whether it's left, right, twist, up or down. Starts putting a lot more unknowns into it, which is why I wanted to keep it as one piece, because at least you know that this piece is a known quantity. yeah, it's, yeah. You know, that's a known quantity, so there shouldn't be any twist. Even, and then with my jig as well, should keep it in the right position. So yeah, bit of a puzzling one. I can't seem to see anything. I'll shine a torch around once again, but I just seem to be coming across the same things where I just keep niggling them. But it doesn't seem to make much of a difference. Like, this is no closer really than it was before. It's maybe a couple of mil closer, but there's nothing that I can see that it's catching on. This side's a little bit more difficult. I'm starting to think I might split them, but I'm not jumping to decisions. I'm not jumping to decisions now because, one, I've got a couple of weeks to think on it, and two, I just think that could open a bigger can of worms, if you like. I mean, I could do something real bonkers, like tube the front end. I mean, I don't want to be a defeatist, but do I get rid and get a shell? It doesn't have to be a working car. Well, I don't just buy a straight shell. Like I said, I don't want to be a defeatist, but it might be the better way. Let me know in the comments what you would do. Would you write this one off? Say jobs are good and that's like not going on the road again. Use it for parts. Or would you save it? I'm really struggling to think how I can get this to line up any better. It's so close, but so far, if you know what I mean. So close, but so far. Yeah, I'm gonna stop wallowing around, tidy up, go home, have some food, have a think about it. And yeah, we'll go from there really. But yeah, and yeah, let me know what you would do in the comments. Would you get rid and get a new shell? Or would you carry on trying to fix it? Or what other solutions would you come up with? I need to have a look into legalities of doing a tube front end, just in case this is too far gone and I just tube chassis, do a tube front end from the bulkhead forward. I need to look into legalities of that in the UK. I don't know if that is something I could do. I didn't really want to do it, but I don't know where I'm at now. It might be that it maybe is more twisted than I've seen. Maybe this strut tower is maybe kinked in a bit more than I think, and that's why it's not fitting. I don't think it is. I mean, it is a little, but not. Yeah, I'm gonna have a think about it. I'm gonna stop wallowing, stop waffling. There is gonna be a bit of a stop on videos. Not stop, but a couple of week hiatus. Because I'm going to Australia for a couple of weeks, and so I'm not going to be able to do any filming. So yeah, so I suppose I'll see you when I get back, or if I'm lazy and I've not edited this video, I'll upload this when I'm back. But I hope you have a nice weekend. Like I say, please like and subscribe. But yeah, tune in for the next one. Like I say, it's probably going to be a couple of weeks. But yeah, hopefully when I come back, I'll have a solution. one way or the other, hopefully.